Go sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
Take him off the medication and give him a half bottle of whiskey. Give everybody loads of everything while they're still alive. Take him off the medication and give him a bottle of whiskey. Give everybody loads of everything while they're still alive. Mint billions of pounds and pour it all over people. Knock me down, you want to put me on the ground, there's money in my pockets, I won't make a sound. Knock me over, pick a four-leaf clover. I went to the doctor, he's just another clown. He said, do what you do, don't bring me down. I'm sure there's a name for that, you're on your own. If they dropped the bomb, if I sang this song on the radio, would you be there, girl? Darling, I love you. You know it's true. When you're not with me, I feel empty and blue. I said, chasing a ghost out of the fire, trying to get along in this crazy world.
So I must have seen about 400 films. I read 200 books. I've slept with 11 women. I've taken every drug under the sun, and I still look like an airline pilot. My father was the well-known abstract painter Roger Hilton, and my mother, Rose Hilton, was also a painter who's become successful posthumously. I've been writing poetry since I was 15. I had 144 poems published in magazines before Vanguard Press offered me a deal. But the snag was that they wanted 1,500 to publish it, so we paid. And apparently they owe me £30 and they haven't paid. I'm also an artist. Attended Falmouth Art School for 6 months, although I spent most of my time in the gym working out. My paintings walk the line between ugliness and beauty. Juxtaposition is a key word here. At the age of 22, I had a psychotic breakdown in Brighton. My brother had to come and get me from Hyde Park Police Station, where I was shouting at the squirrels, wearing no shoes on my feet and sitting against a tree, feeling the energy of the tree rushing up my spine. And I was admitted to Claybury Psychiatric, North London, on a voluntary basis. And there was a little Japanese guitar player in there. He sat next to me and started playing, and I sung 40 Bob Dylan songs in a row. I started listening to Dylan at the age of 11. That same year I started smoking cannabis. I smoked cannabis all day, every day for 11 years. I did LSD 17 times, and that precipitated a very serious psychotic breakdown in which I left the planet, basically. I swallowed 18 beach pebbles on Brighton Beach, as big as a golf ball, big as golf balls. Used Jedi mind tricks to swallow them. Went to London on a trip, and then that led up to the arrest in Hyde Park. Music. I was giving away copies of Bubblegum, which was a CD that I made, down at the local pub, but people were offering me money for them, and then somebody complained to the management that I was hassling people for money, so I nearly got banned. So I've had 17 art exhibitions in Devon and Cornwall, and here's one of my songs. I'm out of my tree, I'm out of my prime, I got one song left 'cause I'm a one-song man. I worked in a kitchen, I've worked like a slave, I've been known to be scared, I've been known to be brave. My eyes are as blue as the sea, my eyes are as green as a tree. I got one belief in one belief, I ain't no orange, I ain't no thief. I got one song left that fills my head, it turns the sky from grey to red. I don't got no woman, I don't got no wife, I think I'm gonna end my life. I ain't going nowhere and just as quick. All my mates tell me that I'm totally thick. And here's a poem. There are no names, no reasons and no days, as we are gone and spent in all our ways. The trees breathe language into my head when the work day's work are said. Rosebuds, the mortal petals of longing, I lose all sense of having been or ever belonging. The songs I sing are all the songs of songing. The empty floods of language flow, on futile bushes the words do grow. The moon laughs in the bath, the sun screams in naked wrath. A poet of sorts, self-taught, twisted, wrangling, demented, wrought, to create my fate before it's too late, because I know that time won't wait. So medication, I mean, I've been on 10 years on Modicate, which is a neuroleptic, which means it's injected into the buttock. It's an antipsychotic in an oil suspension. And what it does is that it splits your mind into 1,000 million little pieces. So instead of having 40 words in your head, which might be considered normal, you've got 2,000 pissing round like quicksilver. And it's horrendous. And apparently it was developed by the Germans in World War II to torture Jewish people. I'm not sure. I don't know what reason they give it to you for. It's not pleasant. It sort of makes you overwell. But it's so intense you can't deal with it. Some people say I'm unemployable. My psychologist said that I was employable. I'm trying to convince myself I'm unemployable apart from writing and painting. But I harbour fantasies of working at B&Q as an assistant. I'm not sure, I'm capable-bodied, but at the moment I've got recurring mental health issues, so that on an average of once a week, on average, I become acutely schizophrenically unwell. Memory hopping from one subject to another, intrusive thoughts, people calling me an ugly twat, unwanted thoughts, my head becomes a very dark place. All the memories start coming in reverse order. It's a bit like I memorised my own madness and it's gone into the world's memory, and then they just roll it in. They won't get me a psychologist or a psychotherapist. They said they can't afford it. And when my mum was alive, they were saying that, and she said she'd pay for it. And then they said that I might get a shot. For some reason, they don't want me talking to a psychotherapist. In case they say there's nothing wrong with me, and then they have to let me know. So I live in a residential care home with 5 other residents, and the 4 of them, I'm not sure about the 5th one, but 4 of them are they're voluntary, you see, they're not sectioned. They can leave any time, whereas I'm still on a section. I was in Langdon Hospital for 18 years and I had a psychologist for almost all the time I was there. Well, I've been there for about 3 years, I think, and the doctor said, would you like to see a psychologist? I said, yes. I have one, and then I have one in St Lawrence's, and he told me that violence against women was going to continue throughout my life.
What did he tell you that for?
Well, I don't know. I was in there for GBH, which was on a female, but I really slipped up, you know. And basically, I've done 31 years served 31 years for GBH, which, you know, in prison you get 6 months. It's hard to imagine. If I lived in my own flat, there'd be several problems. I might be schizophrenically ill and unable to handle going to Morrison's to get my lunch. Morrison spins me out. The local junkies will probably find out where I live and start turning up, banging on the door, demanding food, sex, heroin and money. I justify the whole thing because I paint for an average of 4 hours a day, although I haven't been for the last few days, but normally I paint for 4 hours a day. Because when I arrived, I've been there 10 years, when I arrived they gave me a little wooden hut in the garden to work in. And now they've built me one twice the size next to it. And I'm allowed to use terps because I've got an extractor fan, so I can work in oils again. It's just that just lately my pictures have been going wrong. But I've got since I've been in Beau's place, I've I've worked out what I have to do.
What do you have to do?
Well, the one I was working on Saturday, I went in there and did 5 minutes work. I couldn't handle it. There's a face I've drawn on in pencil, which is terrible. I'm going to paint over it in white, and then I'm going to get a blank canvas and draw some shapes with a indelible marker. Just random jagged shapes, and do 2 black and 1 red, and then put some circles in, and that's how I'm going to start. I'm going on a bit, aren't I? I was originally diagnosed schizophrenic. Then when I got to Loveny ward, I was diagnosed drug-induced psychotic. Then it went back to schizophrenic. Then it went, at Langdon it was manic depressive for 5 years. We were a primitive tribe living in a reality we can't understand. I don't think that my mood now, my mood since I've been in my 50s, is anything to do with my mood as a child. I've got a completely different soul. I mean, I learned more from, I got into surfing in 1990. I got very fit. And then 10 years in the Butler Clinic, I learned a lot about how men function, physically and mentally. It was like being in the army. Well, there's only male residents, but there's female staff. But you can't call these staff honey bunch or anything. Well, I'm allowed out all day, so I mean, I go to the local pub and drink coffee and chain smoke. I had a girlfriend in Salcombe, which is a village in Devon, town in Devon, but she dumped me about 5 years ago. She was, she never stopped talking, and it was, Christopher, when we were growing up, my mum loved me dad in Lancashire, you know, and it never stopped. I used to say, please, can I just watch a bit of this film? Yeah, all right, Keith. Christopher, when we were growing up. I mean, she thought I was funny most of the time. We used to listen to Dylan together. And as soon as I arrived there, she used to make me take a shower, because my personal hygiene is not very good. You can't ignore them, they're everywhere. Yeah, he does my head in. I spend the morning down the pub, the afternoon in my studio, and the evening watching telly with the headphones. But while I'm watching a telly, my mind gets really intense and over busy. When I lose the plot, I think everybody does. I can't separate on the one hand my head and on the other the rest of the world. I keep feeling that my internal reality is controlling my external reality. No, this other woman said it. She said, I don't know why they define it as mental illness when it's just a different state of consciousness. International rock stardom. Shop assistant at Next Clothing in Exeter. Virgos can do things like that. But then I'd have to get up at 8, shower and get to work by 9 on the bus. And if it goes back to mental health issues again. I might be howling insane on the bus. One of the residents, who's quite astute, said your first chance of making it is as a poet. Your second chance of making it is as a painter, and the music thing is not happening.
Pressure is intense. The joke's on us. We missed the bus. There's a blackbird on the fence. Suicide's the bottom line. It's all about your star sign. Chimpanzees with delusions of grandeur, fruitcakes thinking goosey gander, telepathic sluts with big knockers, prisons full of hard-case dockers. My name's Captain Smack. I started the war in